I am making an update to my Shaddoll dracotail deck profile. Since I haven't updated since Chalice was released. But let's start off with the monsters. I play with one copy of Dracotail Frixel. Frixel has the effect that when it's summoned, you can target a Dracotail monster in your graveyard, special summon it, then return a Dracotail monster on your field back to your hand. Which usually it will be Frixel unless you have Frixel target Dracotail Femena, then you will return Femena to your hand. And then all the Dracotail monsters share the same effect, where if they are sent to the graveyard as fusion material, then you can set a Dracotail spell or trap card from your deck. And then the dragons, the main deck dragons, Malulu, Pan, and Urgula, have an additional effect they can do, where they non-target negate a monster effect, destroy a monster, or destroy a spell or trap. Speaking of, I play one copy of Dracotail Malulu. Malulu has the quick effect of being able to fusion summon a Dracotail fusion monster by using monsters from your hand and or field. And then Malulu has the same effect as the effect I mentioned earlier, where if it's sent to the grave as fusion material, you can set a spell or trap, a Dracotail spell or trap in the deck, and then non-target negate the effects of a monster on the field. Next, I play 3 copies of Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous. This card is in here just to be a main phase quick effect fusion summon that returns to your hand during the end phase of which a fusion monster is into the graveyard. Next, I play 3 copies of Dracotail Lucius. Dracotail Lucius has the effect that when summoned, you can add a Dracotail monster from your deck to your hand except for another copy of Lucius. Next, I play 3 copies of Dracotail Femena. Femena has the quick effect of being able to discard it so that you can fusion summon a fusion monster, using monsters from your hand or field as material. Next, I play 1 copy of Dracotail Urgula. Dracotail Urgula will let you set a spell or trap from the deck, and then you can destroy 1 spell or trap card on the field. And then Urgula also has the graveyard effect of being able to target a non-fusion spellcaster Dracotail monster in your graveyard, put itself at the bottom of the deck, and if you do, return that target to the hand. I realized it's that backwards. It's you return the target to your hand, and if you do, put Urgula at the bottom of the deck. Then I play 1 copy of Dracotail Pan. Pan will let you destroy a monster after it's used fusion material, and then if your fusion monster be destroyed by your opponent's card effect while this card's in the graveyard, you can activate this card's effect, target a Dracotail monster that's in your graveyard. I do believe it has to be a non-fusion Dracotail. Okay, you can place it on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, special summon a non-fusion Dracotail monster from your graveyard. For the Shaddoll monsters, I play 1 copy of Shaddoll Hedgehog, 1 copy of Shaddoll Squamata, and 1 copy of Shaddoll Dragon. All 3 of these have effects that activate when they are sent to the graveyard by card effect. Hedgehog will let you add a Shaddoll monster from deck to hand. Squamata will let you send a Shaddoll from deck to grave. And Dragon will let you target a spell trap your opponent controls and destroy it. Then lastly for the Shaddolls, I play 1 copy of Shaddoll Beast. Beast will let you draw 1 card when it's sent to the graveyard by card effect. Then next I play 3 copies of King of the Swamp. King of the Swamp can be discarded to grab Polymerization from the deck to your hand. And then if you fusion summon a fusion monster that using King of the Swamp, then King of the Swamp can be treated as the name of a monster that's specifically mentioned on that fusion monster. So you can use it as Dark Magician for the fusion summon Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. You can use it as Blue Eyes White Dragon for the fusion summon of Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. And I think those are actually the only ones in this deck that require a specific name. Let's see. Or you can treat it as Blazing Cartesia for Grand Gwynol the Dusk Dragon. Yeah, those are the only three that actually mention a specific name. And then for the hand traps, I play 3 copies of Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. Ghost Mourner has the effect that you can discard it to the graveyard when you opponent special summons a monster. Target that monster that was special summoned, negates effects at the end of the turn, and if it leaves the field, your opponent takes damage equal to its original attack. Also, just because I don't remember if I mentioned it at all, but every monster I've mentioned so far, except for King of the Swamp, are all once per turn effects. Next, I play 3 copies of Ash Blossom Joy Spring. This can just be discarded to then negate any card that would add a card from deck to hand, summon from deck, or send from deck to graveyard. Next, I play 3 copies of Molcharmi Perulia and 3 copies of Molcharmi Fualos. The Molcharmis share similar effects where you can only use 2 Molcharmi effects per turn. You can only use their effects while you control no cards. And then, when your opponent summons from a specific location, you get to draw 1 card. And then during the end phase, if you have more cards in your hand than your opponent has on field plus 6, then you randomly shuffle a difference back into the deck. But Fualos will let you draw every time your opponent summons from the deck or extra deck. And then Perulia will let you draw a card every time your opponent normal or special summons from the hand. For the spell cards, the 1/0s I play 1 copy of Ketu Dracotail, 1 copy of Rahu Dracotail, and 1 copy of Polymerization. Polymerization just lets you fusion summon. Rahu Dracotail will let you fusion summon a Dracotail fusion monster using a monster that's in your deck. And then Ketu Dracotail will let you add a Dracotail monster from your deck to your hand. Then if your opponent controls a monster, you can fusion summon a dragon or spellcaster fusion monster. And then next I play 3 copies of Shaddoll Fusion. Shaddoll Fusion lets you fusion summon a Shaddoll Fusion monster using monsters from your hand or field as material. Or you can also use I think it was 2 monsters in your deck if your opponent controls a monster special summon from the extra deck. Then lastly for the spells, I play 3 copies of Fusion Deployment. This card will let you reveal Grand Gwynol the Dusk Dragon to then special summon a Blazing Cartesia the Virtuous from the deck. And then this card will also lock you into fusion monsters, which is fine, because this deck's entire extra deck is nothing but fusion monsters. Then lastly for the traps, I play 1 copy of Dracotail Horn, Flame, and Sting. All 3 of these cards have their own unique effects, followed by then you can return 1 Dracotail card from your grave or banish to the bottom of the deck to then draw 1 card. Horn will let you target a face-up attack mission monster on the field, return to the hand, then you get to draw a card. Flame will let you target a spell card your opponent controls, negates effects till the end of the turn. And then Dracotail Sting will let you target a monster and or a spell or trap your opponent controls, or not controls, in your opponent's graveyard. Banish them. I don't know why I was going to say banish them and then do something else. But that's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, I play 1 copy of El Shaddoll Winda. This card just makes it so that each player can only special summon once while it's on the field. Then I play 1 copy of Dracotail Showless. Dracotail Showless has the effect that once per turn, you can target 2 of your Dracotail cards in your graveyard, shuffle them back into the deck, and then you can return a card on the field your opponent controls that's the same card type, monster, spell, or trap, as the Dracotails you just returned to your deck. Next I play El Shaddoll Greista. Greista just has the effect that let's see, it was when your opponent does something, you can send a Shaddoll from your hand to the graveyard, negate and destroy. When your opponent would special summon monsters, so if your opponent Link, Synchro, or Xyz summons, you get to then send a Shaddoll card from your hand to the grave to negate and destroy. Or you can also use that effect if your opponent does a contact fusion. Next, I play one copy of Dracotail Gulamel. Gulamel has the effect that when you activate a Dracotail card or effect, then Gulamel can double. Why am my brain's trying to make something up. Gulamel can target one card on the field and destroy it. Well, why do I say like double attack and do something else? Granguinola the Dust Dragon really does nothing in this deck because its only purpose is to be used with reinforcement of the army, or not reinforcement of the army, fusion deployment to reveal Blazing Cartesia and summon from the deck. Construct, when summoned, will let you send a Shaddoll card from your deck to the graveyard. If Construct battles a special summon monster, mandatory effect, that monster is destroyed. And then, if Construct is destroyed, you can add a Shaddoll spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand. Greystone also has that effect, and Greystone Window also has that effect, I just forgot to mention it. As all the Shaddoll fusion monsters share that effect, and there's only one more left that I play. Next, I play one copy of Secretarian Dragon, and one copy of Mysterion the Dragon Crown. And then I also play one copy of El Shaddoll Anoyatilis. So, Mysterion the Dragon Crown and Secretarian Dragon both share the effect that they lose 100 attack for each of your banished cards. Secretarian Dragon has the Floodgate effect and making it so your opponent cannot activate the effects of dragon or spellcaster monsters they control. And then once per turn, Secretarian Dragon can use its effect, target a dragon and spellcaster monster in your graveyard, summon one, and put the other at the bottom of the deck. And then Mysterion the Dragon Crown has the effect that when your opponent special summons a monster, you can activate Mysterion's effect to then banish all monsters on the field with the same type as that monster. And then Anoyatilis has the effect that while it's on the field, neither player can summon from the hand or graveyard, except with your opponent cannot use spell cards to summon monsters from the hand or graveyard. And then when it leaves the field, then you can add back a Shaddoll spell trap. Next, I play 3 copies of Dracotail Arthalion. Dracotail Arthalion has the effect that when it's fusion summoned, then you can target a number of cards on the field or in the graveyard, a number of monsters on the field or in the graveyard equal to the number of materials used from your hand for its fusion summon and return them to the hand. And then, I realize I forgot to mention it, Arthalion has the same graveyard effect as Shadowless and Gulamel, where if 2 or more monsters are sent to the graveyard at the same time while this card's in the graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Which I did find out that being returned to the extra deck also includes leaving the field. Next, I play 1 copy of Raya's Dark Dragoon. This card's just in here as an Omni Negate that you can make for free if you see any of the dragon monsters with King of the Swamp. Same with Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon. It's mainly in here just because you can make it using King of the Swamp plus any of the dragons. And then Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon has the additional effect of it's immune to traps, can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each, and then once per turn at the end of the damage step, Tyrant Dragon can set a trap card from your graveyard. And then lastly, I play 1 copy of Guardian Chimera. Guardian Chimera has the effect that once fusion summoned, you can draw cards equal to the number of monsters in your hand you use to summon it, and then destroy cards your opponent controls equal to the number of monsters on the field you use to summon it. with it requiring 3 monsters with different names, with at least one being in the hand and at least one being on the field. One thing to keep in mind with this card is that if you can't destroy anything on field, then you do not get to draw. And then Guardian Chimera has another effect, where if polymerization is in the graveyard, then your Guardian Chimera cannot be targeted by card effects. And then that is it for my Shaddoll dracotail deck profile. If you have any ideas of what I can do to improve the deck, any ideas for decks you'd like to see be made in the future, or decks you'd like to see face each other, feel free to comment down below. I always read the comments. Thanks for watching.